One of the 33 lessons I've learned on my 33rd birthday is that letting go of toxic family ties. We grow up hearing that family's everything, that no matter what happens, blood is thicker than water, that walking away from your family is betrayal, a sign of coldness, selfishness, or unforgiveness. But here's the truth no one tells you enough. Not all family bonds are healthy. Not all love is safe. And not all loyalty deserves your peace. Sometimes the people we share a last name with are the same ones who drain our energy, disrespect our boundaries, or belittle our worth. Sometimes the people who call us family are the ones who break us the most, not with fists, but with words, manipulation, or silence. We tell ourselves to keep trying, to keep forgiving, keep explaining, keep hoping they'll change. But how many times do you have to burn before you realize that fire doesn't care who you are? It just burns. When family becomes a cycle of pain, there are families where love feels like walking on eggshells, where every visit leaves you emotionally bruised, where I love you comes wrapped in guilt trips, criticism, or emotional blackmail. Maybe it's the parent who constantly reminds you that you'll never be enough, the sibling who competes with you instead of cheering you on, the relative who uses "I'm just being honest" as a weapon to cut you down. Toxic family dynamics can look gentle on the outside, but corrosive underneath. They can be built on years of control disguised as care, or shame disguised as tradition. And often you end up being the problem simply because you dared to say no. But here's what power looks like: choosing your peace over their patterns, choosing healing over history, choosing growth over guilt. It's not betrayal to set yourself free. Walking away from toxic family members doesn't mean you don't love them. It means you love yourself enough to stop accepting harm as normal. We've been conditioned to believe that cutting ties means failure, that we're cold, ungrateful, or rebellious. But boundaries aren't betrayal. They're protection. They're how you break generational cycles instead of passing them down. Some people will never admit the pain they caused. Some will twist your silence into disrespect, or your distance into selfishness. But you're not responsible for how they interpret your healing. You're responsible for protecting the person you're becoming. Remember, you can forgive without reopening the door. You can love people from afar. You can wish them peace without inviting their chaos back into your life. Forgiveness is about releasing the weight, not rebuilding the bridge. Family should be a choice, not a chain. Family should be a source of strength, not suffering. Real love doesn't guilt you into staying small. It doesn't demand your silence or punish your boundaries. Healthy family life, whether by blood or by choice, celebrates your growth. They root for you, even when you grow in a direction different from theirs. They respect your no. They listen when you speak. They love you in a way that leaves you free, not fearful. So, if your family refuses to grow with you, it's okay to grow without them. You are allowed to redefine what family means. Sometimes, family is found in friendships, mentors, partners, or communities that uplift and support you. The ones who see your light, not just your last name. Breaking the guilt cycle. Guilt is often the biggest chain that keeps people tied to toxic family patterns. We hear the voice in our head, but they're your parents. They did their best. You only get one family. Yes, and you only get one you. Your peace, mental health, and self-worth are not sacrifices you owe to anyone, not even those who raised you. You can honor the good they gave you and still release what hurt you. You can respect their story without letting it rewrite yours. Breaking free isn't about punishment. It's about choosing not to repeat the pain. It's about saying, the cycle ends with me. Healing after you let go. Letting go doesn't mean it stops hurting right away. There will be days when you doubt your decision, when you miss the idea of family more than the reality of it. There will be birthdays, holidays, or quiet nights when the emptiness hits hard. But with time, the silence that once felt heavy begins to feel peaceful. The distance that once hurt starts to heal. You begin to rebuild, not out of bitterness, but out of freedom. You fill your life with people who value you. You create boundaries that protect your peace. And one day you'll look back and realize walking away wasn't about losing them, it was about finding you. You owe everyone kindness, but not access. You can wish people well without welcoming their chaos. You can show compassion without abandoning yourself. You can forgive without being fooled again. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. Some people only get the privilege of watching from a distance because peace is sacred. And peace, once protected, becomes power. So if you're struggling to let go, remember this. You are not cruel for setting boundaries. You are not ungrateful for protecting your energy. You're not heartless for walking away. You're courageous for choosing yourself after years of being told not to. Sometimes walking away isn't an act of anger. It's an act of healing, an act of strength, an act of self-respect. And that's not selfish. That's freedom.